round 5 of the 15-round World Series Sprint Cars. $500,000 in travel and contingency monies. And an excellent field in the pits. We're at Geelong's Avalon Speedway in Victoria. There's South Aussie Chaz Calandro. A lot of activity in the pits prior to the race meeting, as there always is. There is South Aussie Trevor Green, a colourful yet controversial character at times. Starting to hot lap around this place. Very quick little racetrack. David Anderson is back. There is the American Randy Hannigan. We're going to go into the pits and catch up with some of the men who wheel these winged monsters around.
Chaz Calandro at Avalon Raceway in Geelong. Second fast time in qualifying.
Yeah, it was pretty good, wasn't it? I guess I just had to do another quick time as after last week. We were third fast and we broke an engine valve, and I really want to win pretty soon. I'm just getting anxious for a win, so I was anxious to do a good time. I guess second fast is going to help us there.
How important is that time?
Oh, very important, John. It sets us up now for the night. We don't have to take too many desperates, but we want to go forward, of course. But we gain a few points now, and I've just got to keep it out of trouble and just try to go forward, yeah.
Your crew's working feverishly on the car now to get it ready for the first race. You got a good crew with you tonight?
Oh, very good, mate. I've had a good crew all this season. I'm totally happy.
Skip Jackson, another fast time. Do you really work hard on setting that fast time? Is it that important to your night's racing?
Yeah, it's very important with the World Series because a quick time really allows yourself to put you in a position for the rest of the night to get in a trophy dash. So really try put in a really good lap to be as smooth as possible and make sure the car is as free to go through the corner real nice.
What's the secret of it? How come some drivers can race very well and can't set good times in say 1 or 2 laps?
To tell you the truth, I really don't know. I've just been fortunate that things have worked out for us pretty good as far as qualifying goes. Some drivers can't qualify that good, but they can race so perfectly, so I really don't know. I've got no secret recipe.
And the racetrack tonight?
It's okay. We just have to wait and see how it all transpires and what they do to it, and we just got to keep an eye on it, make sure we adapt and make the right choices with tyres and stagger and everything.
Oh, I think it's notoriously a very good racetrack, very tight little bull ring. It's not a very high-speed racetrack, but every time we come here, seem to get a very competitive race. We time trialled 6th just then, but felt very ordinary in the cars, so we've got plenty of work to do.
How much difference does the car make to your speed?
Oh, it's everything. Like if you've got a shocking car, you'll go shocking. If you've got a good car, you'll go pretty well. All the drivers that are out here are very, very professional and very, very tough competition. And it's really what the mechanics are doing with the cars is what the result is on the night.
So you don't just get in these cars and drive them. You have to work on them all night, do you?
It's just endless hours. Like the amount of man hours that go into these cars, I'd hate to predict how many. If it was you're getting charged $40 an hour, everyone would be struggling. Put it that way. But great amount of hours go in, and like I said, I felt very uncomfortable in the car just then. So hopefully we can get it a bit nicer as a night and get this Ad-Rad Radiators car up front.
Well, that's a look at some of the stars out of their cars. Let's have a look at them now on the track. And young Darren Maggs, second-generation racer, starts in the front position alongside Cameron Gessner, the lanky Queenslander in the Union Steel number 68. Now, Matthew Reid is supposed to start from position 2. There's some confusion here. Maggs picks up the pace, so does Gessner. Oh, this is a pretty average-looking start. Oh, they somehow get into position just in the nick of time. I think we're going to go green. We are. Oh, off pitch. Oh, Andrew Shirley, the Lucas Oils 95, upside down on the roof. And a lot of damage to that race car. And we're going to take a quick look at that in replay and find out what happened. I think it was more the confusion of the start itself. Let's have a look at it. They come out of the turn. You see Gessner on the right-hand side, Shirley on the outside. And bang, over he goes. Well, there is Andrew Shirley alighting from the number 95 car. Bitterly disappointed. Joining me in commentary is Sydney Sprint Car driver JJ Manif. Quick wave to the crowd from Shirls, one of the likeable characters on the scene. And JJ Manif, I get the feeling that was caused from the confusion created at the start.
Yeah, everyone was just all over the place at the start and hit the nail on the head. Confusion. People didn't know what was going to happen.
Well, look at Gessner. Pulls out of the second row and whole shots turn 1. Well, Max Dumesny on the pole must be shaking his head in disbelief. Here comes Peter Smith, the publican from South Australia, down on the low side of Dumesny. And the place is absolutely packed. This is Avalon Speedway, Geelong, Victoria. And Gessner being shown the protest flag just at the moment. JJ, it'll be interesting to see how long his celebrations last. I think that might have been a little too enthusiastic.
World Series are pretty strict on the starts to have a pretty fair rule. You've got to come to the line together, and I'm not really sure whether he's going to get away with that one.
Well, Dumesny now settling back into second spot. Formerly, of course, a Victorian, was born down near Warrnambool Way. comes out of turn number 4, would have a fair bit of experience around this facility, the Drew family-owned facility. Dumesny still back in second. The Valvoline Ian Vale prepared. Number 1, J&J, back in the third spot. Oh, Dumesny pulls the car sideways. Peter Smith has been somewhat of a revelation in the last couple of weeks, JJ.
Yeah, he did great on his home track at Adelaide a couple of weeks ago, and he's running well here at Avalon tonight.
Dumesny starting to come now, JJ, isn't he? You can see him getting over the initial shock of seeing Gessner hole shot from the second row, and now Max is starting to come back. Smith back in the third has faded just a little. Dumesny rockets out of turn number 2, although Gessner is matching him for straight line speed. Doesn't seem like horsepower is a big factor here, JJ. It looks a little too tight.
Yeah, track's pretty small. It's probably the smallest track that the World Series have visited so far this year. They're pretty large tracks in Western Australia. And
Max Dumesny in trouble. Sorry to cut in on you, JJ, but Dumesny in the Ian Vale tune, J&J. A big problem there. Gessner gets away now from Smith. It's going to break your heart. It's going to hurt Max in qualifying.
Well, you got to remember too, Max Dumesny didn't make the feature race at Adelaide last round, so he's really struggling in the points at the moment. It's not what he needs.
Well, this is the season that we thought he'd be right up there at the top of the tree because he was, well, less NASCAR commitment, so more emphasis on racing sprint cars. We thought that might have helped him. Unfortunately, bad luck is on his side at the moment. Here is Gessner. Smith still back in the second spot, I believe. Peter Smith is, in fact, in first place, as it were, because the stewards have, in fact, deemed that Gessner jumped the start. So the collar type labels, number 8, the proprietor of Highway Inn Hotel, is going to get the win. Checkered flag goes to Gessner, but Smith gets the win. Fastest cars here tonight. Brooke Tatnell alongside the 21 AU of Garry Brazier. Randy Hannigan starts from inside second row. Alongside him, Kerry Madsen, Skip Jackson, and Chaz Calandro having quite a night in the South Australia 33 Castrol car. Pace starts to pick up. Time to get it done here. This for pole position. And I fancy that JJ Manif, this is going to be a racetrack that's going to be a little difficult to pass on in the feature race, so this is a handy race to win.
Yeah, definitely. You want to start up near the front in these races. Track, as we've spoken about a lot of times before, goes a little slick. It's a little hard to pass. Brooke Tatnell leading the dash now. He's looking for his 6th consecutive World Series feature race win here at Avalon, so he'll be really keen to get it on the front row.
Oh, you've been studying the World Series website, JJ Manif. You've been doing your stats out of turn number 4. Perhaps you could tell me Skip Jackson's average finish.
Well, I was looking at that during the week. We always speak about the consistency of Skip Jackson. Last year's World Series, 16 rounds, Skip had an average finish of 4.25, and this year is averaging 2.25. That's what gives you championships, just that finishing up front every show.
And what's his mother's maiden name?
Maiden name. Can't tell you that one.
Gotcha. Madsen rockets out of turn number 3 and 4, but you did very well before that. Hannigan back in the third spot in the Oz track. Number 7, the THR entry, owned jointly with Scotty Milling from Kalgoorlie. Interesting thing, THR actually stands for Terry Hannigan Racing, which is Randy Hannigan's brother, who was nearly fatally injured in a bank robbery in the USA. And part of the proceeds from the damages that were awarded to Terry went to the racing of Randy Hannigan. They raced together as brothers. Terry's quite often at the racetrack. Brooke Tatnell, Shell Helix number 8, blasting out of turn number 2. I tell you what, if anyone could use a break in some bad luck, it's this man right here. He wins the dash and goes to pole. It's money time at World Series Sprint Cars. Something like $4,000 it pays to win a round of the World Series Sprint Cars, and that would go a long way towards contributing to the phenomenal costs of sprint car racing. The Control Goodyear tyre, one of the mainstays of cost control that World Series Sprint Cars have put in. And just look at that, Skip Jackson on the second row of the field. 4 wide salute, that is. Skip just sets himself smaller goals, small steps, and always ends up with a big result. I see West Aussie Ryan Farrell qualifying for the main as well. Good to see the youngster, who's had very little experience on the East Coast, doing well. Out of turn number 4, we're set to go green. Brazier against Tatnell. Well, there's no love lost between those two fiercely determined youngsters. Tatnell gets the nod. A lot of smoke from Hannigan's number 7 into turn number 3 and 4. That was a crucial start, and look at Hannigan. Now, that may not be a terminal problem, but that's a lot too much smoke to be just an oil surge, isn't it?
Especially at the start of the race, 30 laps to go. I mean, there's going to be a lot of oil coming out of that car by the end of the race.
Well, there is Peter Smith, who's really having a good couple of weeks. Nice to see Smithy doing well. Oh, Gessner stopped the car coming out of turn number 4. Now, a lot of smoke from the right-hand side. Does this look terminal?
I'm not sure it's turmoil, whether it's just an oil line or something that's come a little loose and it's blowing out onto the headers. A little bit of oil will make a lot of smoke when the headers get up to temperature.
Is there a chance that it can ignite when it gets to a certain point? Here we go. Trouble. Is he pulled up just to check that there's a problem, or is there a terminal problem there? Let's have a look. Well, Gessner it is, who's being hospitalised by the looks of things. So, drama there, hurt his leg.
Apparently there's a broken drive line that came across and got him in the leg.
Well, you guys generally you run a hoop over the top of the drive line, correct? Which the drive line, in fact, for those fans who haven't seen inside a sprint car, runs right between your legs. It's encased in a cylinder known as the torque tube, and usually you run a hoop or a strap over the top to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, usually that will happen, but maybe if the strap was a little bit too loose, it can just get in the leg a little bit.
Well, that's bad news for the Queenslander. Let's hope he's back to a speedy recovery. Back onto the main straight, talking about speedy recoveries. Oh, we have trouble, and I think it might be Farrell. It is in the PMFM 92.9 Kendrick Racing entry out of Western Australia. So Tatnell, who will not be phased at all by this high frequency of restarts. Anyone who's done it before and has led a lot will know that it's a natural part of racing. Brazier sits in second, Madsen in third, Jackson in fourth. Oh, baby. There's a little quartet for you, JJ.
That's a tough field up the front. Either one of those guys has just got a great shot at winning this race.
Back in the field too is Dean McComb in car number 21. Oh, very sideways, and didn't Trevor Green make the most of that situation? You saw the Titan Garages Cruck-owned McComb car go a little high, and bam, Trevor Green was straight through on the inside. I see that Gary Madsen running as usual, just a little higher than everybody else down the main straight, but everyone's hugging the curb down low in the turns.
You noticed there on the last lap when McComb went into turn one, he just ran a little bit too high, the car got loose, it got away from him, and Trevor Green just blew up the inside, and I think that's what's going to happen for a lot of the race.
I'm looking at main wing setups here, JJ Beneath, to see who's doing what, and I see that Brazier, as per usual, has the main wing set a lot further back than the rest of these guys. Now, Brooke has got his wing pretty central and even a little bit forward. Brazier seems to like to get the car tight a bit more. He likes to pull the wing back. How does that translate to the car?
Well, pulling the wing back puts more weight on the rear end, and it's what you said, makes the car tight. That's correct. If anything, it'll get a little bit of an understeer, but that should be better as the race goes on, the track dries out. Gary's car should be more suited to the racetrack the longer the race goes on.
Because hydraulic wings in this situation, are they allowed? Are they not allowed in World Series competition? I don't think they are.
I'm not sure with the hydraulic wing rule in World Series sprint cars.
Out of turn number 2, they are allowed. By the looks of things, we're just checking the rules here. I'm just flipping through the books right now, as a matter of fact. Hydraulic wings. Yes, they are. Out of turn number 4. And you can see that Brooke Tatnell doing a monster job. Brazier still in the second spot. Jackson in third has got by Madsen. And Skip, well, the little bloke who announced a big deal with Pennzoil this week. And together with Skilled Engineering, what a partnership he's got there. There is Madsen back in the 49 car. Relatively unsponsored. It's often been said if you had a bit of money tucked away, what you could do with a nice race car and Kerry Madsen behind the wheel.
Yeah, Kerry gets the job done. Like, don't...
Oh, trouble here, JJ. Oh, Brooke Tatnell. Woo! That was close. It's Mark Reuter, second-generation racer in the ROH wheels. Number 95 has gone up against the wall and come down hard and has broken, at the very least, a nice new right rear wheel. How lucky was Brooke then? And we saw how skaty the track was up top then.
Yeah, Brooke got above the racing groove up into the marbles and just slid around, but everyone's been saying Brooke's been having a lot of bad luck. Maybe just then it turned around for him. He could have easily been taken out in that.
Well, it looked very skaty up the top, and he was lucky that he got back on the gas. Now, that's another thing that a lot of fans wouldn't realise, though. You do have brakes. How well do they really work in the scale of things?
Not really that well, considering we just run brakes on the left front of the car to help the car turn into the corner, and mostly just on the inboard on the left side and the rear end. So really the brakes aren't that great, but you don't need to use them that much.
And these cars don't really handle unless you're under acceleration, correct?
That's right. If you lift the throttle, for example, like when that car was crashed on top of the racetrack, the car just won't turn, or if anything, it will turn right and just drive you straight to the fence because of the way the suspension and the whole setup works together.
A couple of South Aussies running together. Joining me in commentary, as always, on this World Series competition, a young man more comfortable generally behind the wheel of a sprint car, but jumping behind the mic this year and doing a nice job. JJ Manif, who's really putting us in the driver's seat this year. Madsen charging into turn number 3 and 4 once more. Oh, look out, Brooke Tatnell! Well, JJ, a couple of laps ago, you told me maybe this might have been the end of the bad luck. You cannot believe it. You don't have to be dead to be stiff. The Shell Helix number 8 of Brooke Tatnell's suspected fuel pump problems.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Obviously something mechanical. Brooke didn't touch anything. He's just rolled to a stop. Pretty heartbreaking when you're in the lead of a race like that.
Tell you what, and Brazier. Well, all of a sudden, Garry Brazier in front with Skip Jackson in second, Madsen in third. Still anybody's race at this particular circuit with the calibre of driver that we have here. In fourth spot is Peter Smith, back to Trevor Green and Dean McComb. Gee, this is such a universal competition now, JJ. You've got a couple of Sydney-siders, in fact 3 Sydney-siders up the front, but then you've got 2 South Aussies and a Queenslander nipping at their heels. It's truly becoming a national competition.
It's almost an international competition. You've got 3 Sydney-siders running in the lead that run in America for a lot of our winter. Back to South Australians, some Americans in the field. I mean, this series is obviously, you know, the pinnacle in Australia, and it's right up there worldwide, I think.
Imagine how much good this is doing Peter Smith's confidence. The South Aussie back in the field after running strongly in South Australia at his home track at Speedway City just last round. To be doing so well again at Geelong has got to be building his confidence. Skip motors out of turn number 4, up against the wall. Now, very shiny parts of the racetrack at the moment as we see Garry Brazier starting to work his car off the gas into the turns. Let's discuss this lap by lap. We see Brazier, he's hard on the gas now, JJ, and he's off the gas now, keeping the car very straight over the smoother, more shiny surface. What do we call that?
The racetrack's slick there. It's starting to take a little bit of rubber. That's why the racetrack goes black and it looks shiny. Keep the car nice and straight across that so you don't slide through it up into the marbles and lose a lot of time. So what you got to do is just try and be smooth, keep your momentum up, and try not to spin those tyres too much. One, you'll hurt the tyre, you'll burn the right rear and the left rear off the car, and also when you're spinning the tyres, you just don't go forward, you're just going slower. And your backside could beat your head to the next corner too. As you come out of the turns, it's like an eggshell out there at the moment. You need to be careful not to crush it. Smith, if anything, has opened up a little bit of ground over his fellow South Aussie Trevor Green, the Salisbury welder, who spends a little bit more time behind the wheel than behind the flame of an arc welder these days. His family business, Green Welding Services, support him greatly in his endeavours. Back to McComb, we talked about him a couple of weeks ago. Farrell has gone to the rear and come back and doing very nicely indeed. There is Darren Jensen in the Serco, number 75. Matthew Reid, I think that is up ahead of him. Matthew Reid, a very talented youngster as well. Been a pretty good drive from Farrell considering he has a relative newcomer to this circuit. Yeah, that's right. The way the racetrack is at the moment, so a little bit one lane, tough to pass. He's doing good from the back.
There's McComb running down low on the track, trying to chase down Green. This has got to be where it's frustrating as a race car driver when the track has dried off and got a bit slippery. I'll use the word slippery, it's a bit more conducive than slick to most people. You see a car up in front of you, JJ, the natural thing is to put your foot down harder to catch him.
Yeah, that's right. That's what you want to do. If you start doing that, though, like we were saying before, you spin the tyres and actually go slower. You just got to try and pace yourself, run your own race, and hopefully you'll be able to run the person in front down doing that.
Go slow to go fast is the term you'll often hear as we see Jackson coming up to put a lap down on Calandro. Run into turn number 3 and 4 once more. Skip within sighting distance of this bloke. He's certainly got Brazier in his gun sights. Colourful, controversial, but certainly one of the most naturally gifted drivers in the Australian sprint car game. Can win at a moment's notice. A second-generation racer. His older brother Stevie was destined to be a champion as well, but he was tragically killed in a road accident. His father Steve, truly one of the greats of Australian sprint car racing. With a bloodline like his, he could win the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, well, the thing is as well, Steve Brazier, champion race car driver, and he's an excellent sprint car mechanic, so he gives Garry first-class equipment all the time.
Well, Madsen has not let Jackson get too far away, but there's trouble in turn number 2. I think that's Matthew Reid. What a shame for him. Likeable young man with a lot of natural ability himself. So Brazier, Jackson, Madsen, Smith, Green and McComb. We're Green back at Geelong's Avalon Raceway in Victoria. Round 5 of the $500,000 travelling horsepower circus World Series sprint cars. Back into turn 1 and 2. And to make that 3 fine exponents of how to keep a race car straight there. Brazier, Jackson and Madsen. I hope anyone sitting behind is not waiting for these guys to get loose.
3 guys with a lot of experience on the slick track. They know how to drive it. They'll be trying to go for the win, but they also know how to drive on these slick tracks.
Gee, they're so evenly matched at the moment. I mean, Madsen, they'll be driving the wheels off that thing at the same time, trying to keep something up his sleeve in case there's someone back there that could pester him. But at this stage, Skip has just got the upper hand in the battle for second. The little bloke who's his wife Laurie and little baby AJ have now returned to Australia. I say returned, they're of course based 6 months in Knoxville. Actually it's more 8 months in the USA and 4 months in Australia. Calandro illustrating right there how slippery this track is getting. Jumped on the pedal, lit the tyres up. 700 horsepower on probably a quarter of an inch of dirt in some places. It just doesn't match.
No, you just spin the tyres and go backwards. We've been saying it the whole coverage, and that's exactly what happens. It's just a great illustration of it.
There is Farrell. Oh, look how sideways Farrell is getting into the turns. Well, there's a good chance that that big right rear Goodyear tyre's causing grief now. It could be worn out. Not for Garry Brazier. Cool hand Luke in a crisis takes the win from Skip Jackson in second, Kerry Madsen in third, and there he is, GB. Three-time Australian sprint car champion, a former winner of this series. Tremendous drive in the 21 car, wrenched by his father, Steve Brazier.
Yeah, you know, it's great to be back on the winner's circle. You know, it's been a funny part of the year this year. We've had a win and then, you know, we had a few motor problems along the way, and, you know, to come back here in Avalon and win, especially to stop Brooks 6 on a trot, you know, that was a great thrill for me.
You've dropped a few points with races, just recent rounds you didn't start in. Is that going to be hard to make up?
Oh, definitely. You know, Adelaide really hurt us, I think. You know, we sort of went there and we were feeling pretty good in hot laps, and we time trialled pretty well, and you know, Skip came away with the victory, and you know, he done really well that night, and he deserved it. Just hurt us along the lines of catching up with him in points. You know, I've seen him run second here tonight, and you know, he's just so consistent. What can you say? You know, eventually, like I said, happened to me. I had a great run for 4 years. I never had a problem with motors, and you know, I guess everything catches up with everybody, and good luck can't last forever. Just showed tonight how we got inverted to the front row with the inversion, and you know, we come away with the spoils.
Brooke, if we can just take you away from signing autographs for a moment, must be a bitter pill to swallow to have to pull out of a race when you're leading it like that.
Yeah, it is, but it's been a tough year. We've had ups and downs, and I think tonight we had the goods, but unfortunately that's just part of motor racing. We broke a fuel pump drive. The only reason we stopped on the racetrack, I diagnosed it whilst I was there as an ignition coil, and I tried to see if that was the problem so we could try and restart and pick up some valuable points, but not to be.
Garry Madsen, a fine drive into third place here at Avalon Raceway in the 5th round of World Series, third place.
Yeah, we're really happy with third place. We've only ever raced at Avalon once before, and we're way behind on points, so points is what we want, so we can catch up to the leading guys, and we'll take a third. We're pretty happy with that.
This is the first time you've taken on the whole series tour. Are you happy with the style of racing and the different racetracks?
Oh, I love it. I just wish I'd let the tracks get a little slicker, but no, it's good, and it has to be the toughest field there ever was, so whoever wins it this year is really going to deserve it, I think.
That's all we have time for now. Trust you enjoyed the show. Merry Christmas. From the team, I'm John Thompson. We'll catch you then.